The void of deep space has remained untouched by human presence for over half a century, but the silence is about to break. Artemis 2 is not merely NASA's next scheduled flight. It is a strategic return to the lunar theater, slated for early 2026. While technically categorized as a test flight, do not let the terminology fool you. This is a high-stakes operation where 4 elite astronauts will push into the unknown, traveling to the far side of the moon on a 10-day odyssey. They will be riding the most powerful manned rocket ever engineered by human hands. Today, we are going to declassify the mission architecture of Artemis 2 inches 3 critical phases: the hardware, the mission profile, and the operators. The countdown has begun. Before we enter the operational details, we must understand the vehicle that makes this possible. The delivery system is the Space Launch System, known simply as the SLS. This is a leviathan of modern engineering. It features 2 massive solid rocket boosters flanking the sides, reminiscent of the space shuttle era, anchored to a towering orange core stage. On Artemis 2, these boosters carry a visual symbol of their mandate, a massive America 250 logo, celebrating the approaching semi-quincentennial of the United States in 2026. It is a fitting tribute, considering this machine is the culmination of industrial efforts from every single state in the Union. Stacked above the propulsion is the Interim Cryogenic Propulsion Stage, or ICPS, the muscle for the final orbital push. But the true heart of the system sits at the apex, Orion. This is the command center. The bottom section, the European Service Module, ESM, is the powerhouse, providing electricity and propulsion, the very lifeblood of the ship. Above that sits the crew module, the capsule. This is the pressurized vessel where the astronauts will live, work, and survive for the duration of the mission. For Artemis 2, the crew has bestowed the call sign Integrity upon their ship. When the fire and fury of the mission conclude, this capsule is the sole component that will survive the inferno of re-entry. Finally, capping the rocket is the Launch Abort System, LAS. This tower is the ultimate failsafe. In the event of a catastrophic failure or explosion on the pad, the LAS can rip the capsule away from the rocket in milliseconds, outrunning the blast to save the crew. It is a system we hope to never use, but one we cannot fly without. With the hardware defined, we shift focus to the mission profile itself. As briefed, Artemis 2 is a test mission. Its predecessor, Artemis 1, successfully proved the airworthiness of the SLS in 2022, but that flight was uncrewed. Now, we introduce the most unpredictable variable, the human element. This mission is designed to stress test the human-centric systems that keep operators alive in the vacuum. We are talking about critical life support, docking maneuvers, radiation shielding, tactical communication, and sustenance. Consider the logistics of survival. The 4 crew members will gather in the confines of Orion to share meals during their 9-day transit. The onboard hydration systems must flawlessly portion water, not just for drinking, but to rehydrate their tactical food rations. Then there is the physical toll of zero gravity. To combat muscle atrophy, the crew will utilize a flywheel device. Visualize a high-tech rowing machine capable of simulating heavy resistance. This allows for squats, deadlifts, and curls, vital countermeasures to maintain combat readiness in a weightless environment. Even the biological necessities, like the waste management system, are critical systems that must be validated. Every valve, every seal, every protocol is under the microscope because, unlike a simulation, you cannot pause a mission in deep space. The operation commences at the legendary Kennedy Space Center in Florida from Launch Pad 39B. This concrete altar of aerospace history launched Apollo 10 to the moon and witnessed the roar of the space shuttle. As early as February 5, 2026, the silence of the marshlands will be shattered. When the countdown reaches 0, the SLS will unleash 8.8 million pounds of thrust, becoming the most powerful manned rocket launch in recorded history. The physics of this moment are violent and visceral. 2 minutes into the ascent, the solid rocket boosters will be jettisoned, leaving the core stage to power the crew into low Earth orbit. At this altitude, the Launch Abort System is also discarded, exposing the Orion capsule to space. 8 minutes post-ignition, the core stage is depleted. It separates and falls back to the planetary surface, leaving the ICPS to ignite. This second stage delivers the final kinetic kick needed to achieve orbit. After 2 precise burns, Orion will be placed into a highly elliptical high Earth orbit. The geometry of this orbit is extreme. At its furthest point, Orion will be 46,000 miles from Earth. At its closest perigee, a mere 115 miles. This initial orbit is a strategic holding pattern lasting 24 hours. During this day, Orion will separate from the ICPS to conduct a critical proximity operations demonstration, essentially, target practice for docking. In future operations, Orion must dock with the lunar lander and the gateway station. The crew needs to verify that the autopilot algorithms and the reaction control thrusters respond exactly as predicted. We cannot afford ambiguity here. Consider the cautionary tale of the Starliner test flight last year, where astronauts Butch and Suni were stranded on the ISS for months due to thruster degradation. In low Earth orbit, rescue is possible. In deep lunar space, a similar failure could be a death sentence. We must ensure Orion is flawless before committing to the translunar burn. Once the systems check is complete and Orion swings back toward Earth, the engine will reignite for the translunar injection, TLI. This is the point of no return. The burn commits the astronauts to a free return trajectory. This is a brilliant stroke of orbital mechanics. It means the gravitational interplay between the Earth and the Moon will naturally slingshot Artemis 2 back home without requiring additional engine burns. It is the ultimate safety net. If the main engine fails or the ship loses power, gravity itself becomes the pilot, guiding the crew back to Earth, just as it saved the Apollo 13 crew during their crisis. The transit to the Moon will take 4 days across a dark, freezing void. During this cruise phase, the crew will drill emergency procedures, specifically focusing on radiation contingency. Deep space is awash with high-energy particles that can shred human DNA. If humans are to colonize the Moon or Mars, we must master radiation mitigation. Orion is equipped with a dedicated storm shelter, and the astronauts will test its efficacy in a live fire environment. It is crucial to clarify the tactical objective. Artemis 2 is not a landing mission. There will be no boots on the regolith this time. This is a lunar flyby, echoing the daring profile of Apollo 8 inches 1,968. The trajectory will carry the crew 230,000 miles from home, swinging them around the far side of the Moon. This is the hemisphere that forever faces away from Earth, a place of absolute isolation. The crew will be further from our planet than any humans in history. The simulation of this flyby is breathtaking. The astronauts will gaze down at a cratered, gray landscape, passing within 4,600 miles of the lunar surface. But the most profound view will be out the other window, the Earth, reduced to a fragile blue marble suspended in the black. After the flyby, gravity whips the spacecraft back toward home. Orion will execute minute trajectory correction burns to ensure it hits the atmospheric interface at the precise angle. After another 4-day transit, the capsule integrity will separate from the service module and slam into the Earth's atmosphere. The heat shield will scream as it dissipates the energy, protecting the crew until splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. There, United States Navy recovery teams will extract them, concluding the 10-day mission. Now, let us examine the operators entrusted with this vehicle. The crew of Artemis 2 consists of 4 individuals selected for their psychological fortitude and technical brilliance: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. These are not just passengers, they are the best the world has to offer. Reed Wiseman serves as the mission commander. A Baltimore native and a 27-year veteran of the Navy, Wiseman is a pilot and engineer with nerves of steel. He has been an astronaut since 2009, logging 167 days in orbit. He knows the risks, and he knows how to lead men and women through them. Victor Glover is the pilot, the man at the controls. A legislative fellow and engineer from California, Glover is a combat veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He has flown 40 different aircraft across 24 combat missions. When the situation becomes critical, you want a pilot with combat experience in the seat. Glover has been in the astronaut corps since 2013. Christina Koch serves as mission specialist. She is an electrical engineer, a former firefighter, and an Antarctic explorer, a woman accustomed to surviving in extreme, hostile environments. Growing up on a Michigan farm, she rose to work on major scientific programs for NASA and NOAA. She holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman, nearly a full year in orbit. Her endurance is legendary. Finally, Jeremy Hansen joins as mission specialist, representing the Canadian Space Agency. Hansen is a colonel in the Canadian military, a fighter pilot, and a physicist. He earned his wings at 16 and rose to become a top-tier aviator. In 2017, he became the first Canadian to lead a NASA astronaut class. But here is the wildcard factor. Artemis 2 will be Hansen's first trip to space. To have a lunar mission as your rookie flight is unheard of, a testament to his exceptional capability. These 4 astronauts are the vanguard. They are paving the road for the permanent return of humanity to the Moon. So, when does the operation commence? The window opens soon. The first tactical launch opportunity for Artemis 2 is February 5th, 2026. However, we must remain realistic. Artemis 1 required multiple attempts before the systems were synchronized. This is the nature of aerospace development. With human lives on board the capsule this time, the safety protocols will be
Decades
even more
after
rigid.
Apollo,
Do not be
we
surprised
return
if we
to the
see
moon.
scrubbed launches. Patience
Not
is a
just as
virtue
a
in
nation,
rocketry. A delay
as
is always
humanity.
preferable to a disaster. My family and I intend to be deployed on-site for the launch, witnessing history alongside the crowds. The roar of that rocket will signal a new era. If you share this anticipation for the Artemis 2 campaign, I have designed specific mission apparel to commemorate the event. You can find these Artemis 2 shirts and merchandise on my digital astronaut Etsy shop. Gear like this is a way to wear the mission patch. The link is available now. The return to the moon is no longer science fiction. It is an imminent military and scientific reality. Ensure you like and subscribe to stay briefed on mission updates. For a deep dive into previous operations, check out my other Artemis dossiers right here. The future is arriving. Stand by.